I am the god of the jelly, and I bring you Satan's ham.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Jordan Snow's Tiny Room Concerts. Today we have with us Al Williams.
What's up?
From Green Jelly.
Jello.
Jello. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the two Y's over, the two dots over the Y make it a O.
Okay.
And so there's a band called Green Jello, spelled with Jelly, and there's a band called Queen's Roke. They call it Queen's Reich.
You're in that band as well?
No.
Oh.
No, that's real stuff there. Green Jello's fun.
Right on, right on. Wasn't there, I think I read online that there was, like, copyright issues that, like, the jelly company actually reached out to you guys or something? Is that real?
Yeah. It's, I don't even remember who they are, but whoever owns the Jello patent sued the band and made them change the name after the Three Little Pigs song came out.
Wow.
Kraft Foods, I think it was. Fuck Kraft Foods. Yeah, they made them change the spelling of the name of the band because they didn't want to be associated. Mainly because we have a song that says Green Jello sucks.
And that's the name of the Facebook group too, right?
Yep.
I remember when you told me about the band, I didn't even know that you were in the band. You just told me, hey, have you heard about...
I hooked up with them in 2015.
Okay.
Three Little Pigs came out in the original version in 89, and then they did it, the album hit was in 93.
Okay. I thought it was so interesting, like, looking back, that when you told me about it, like, we were talking about Acadia, because Tommy had told me to talk to you.
Yeah.
Because he was saying, oh, yeah, we're buds, whatever, say hi to him for me. So I did, and you were telling me, oh, yeah, I got, like, have you heard of Green Jello? I got a show booked for them at Acadia or whatever. And you told me to look them up on Facebook, so I looked them up and liked them and everything. And it wasn't until, like, months later that I even realized that you were in the band. And I'm like, wait, that same guy who was just telling me about this band was in the band. Like, I thought that you were, like, a fan or something. You were, like, helping them get booked or something.
There are 1,005 people in the band right now. Give or take the 20 or so that we don't talk about anymore.
Wow, how does that work?
Well, Bill, the singer, will fly to a town and not even know if he has a band yet. And somebody will pick him up at the airport and take him to the gig. And if he has a band, cool. If he doesn't have a band, he'll put one together. And then he'll play with that band for 3 days and then fly home and then do it all again the next week. Wow. And that's how I hooked up with him.
So it's like a whole, like, community of people who are, like, a whole community following, and it, like, if you know the songs and can play them, and
you don't even have to know the songs, together. You can act like you're playing.
Just act like it.
But everybody who plays with the band knows Three Little Pigs, Anarchy in the UK, and after that, if they don't know it, they fake it.
Wow. So when you told me I booked them, you really meant that. Mm-hmm. And then you just hopped up on stage with them.
Well, we did rehearsals beforehand too.
Okay.
Because the former head of the Texas chapter was wanted rehearsals and stuff, and it was just the three of us and Bill. And those two weren't very good. Not that I'm the greatest in the world, but they were terrible.
So there's chapters, like, in different chapters, regions.
It's like this region is called Southern Fried Green Jello.
Southern Fried.
The core of it is myself, a guy named Casey Shea, who's based in Beaumont, and James Neese, the Care Bear. He lives around here somewhere. And Jake. What the fuck is his last name? Don't remember Jake's last name. He'll probably kick my ass if he sees this. You know him. He's the big, tall, green-haired kid who does lights at House of Blues.
Might have met him. Probably did.
Yeah. He's like 7 feet tall, and so is KC, and here I'm 5'6", and I'm like, What's up, guys? And they're like, nothing much, what's going on? And a cat named Jarman Willis, who's from Kerrville, Texas. He's got a nice little spread up there. And we have auxiliary members like a guy named Landon, who's in Plano. Sean, our guy in Amarillo, plays bass. So we'll have 2 bass players when we play in Amarillo.
Oh, well, because you play bass for it, right?
I've played everything in that band right so far.
Oh, wow.
Played guitar, played drums for a couple songs, played bass, sing occasionally.
Sounds like a good time.
We have a guy named Peter who's in New Orleans, who's part of our chapter. He's Dweezil Zappa's monitor guy. He's a really, really badass theremin guy, but he plays guitar with us.
Wow.
And then, we're open to anybody who wants to come in and play, except for one guy who doesn't exist anymore.
Was there a story to that?
Yeah, he's a fucking asshole.
Oh.
It's like part of what we do, what I do is like, I'm the bass player and production manager for Green Jello when we're in the area. So I'll call the clubs up and I'll tell them, okay, this is what we got. We've got 7 guitar players, 2 bass players, and 3 drummers. And so we need this, and this. Well, this one guy went behind me to all the sound guys. He's like, okay, I'm the only live guitar player. Everybody else is miming the tracks. So just make sure I'm loud. And we're all like, dude, I just told the sound guy exactly what we need. Why are you going behind my back and telling him that shit? And then he plays over everybody and he doesn't play the songs right. It's like his last run with us was in October. He's done. He could fuck off.
So the band that takes nursery rhymes, turns them into rock songs, and has everybody
Just one. Just 3 little pigs.
jumping around and
Yeah.
That's the only one?
That's the only one.
Okay.
Everything else is legit songs.
Okay. I watched a bit of a video of that Acadia show, and
Which one? The most recent one?
probably was it in 2018 or was it
No, the most recent one was 2019.
2019?
No, it was 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my 50th show with the band.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yep. We set the record by having 10 people do shots off of the singer's balls.
That's wild.
Yep, he'll just whip them out, pour the shot, and people will stand below him and drink it.
Well, I saw one and I thought the singer called you a nickname like Porky Pig or something like that.
No, Sammy Hagar.
Sammy Hagar. What's that? Is that just a random nickname or?
Nah, I have a slight resemblance to Sammy Hagar, especially when my hair is lighter. And so everywhere we go, people go, hey, Sammy Hagar, Sammy Hagar, hey, Sammy Hagar. Finally, our stage guy, sound guy, will go $50 for an autograph. Then I turn around and the production manager would go $20 and he'll look at you. And so people finally left it alone. But we were driving around down like the Meridian area in Houston, looking at all the murals and stuff, and I posed for a picture with our old drummer next to one of the murals, and one of her friends goes, hey, nice picture at Carrot Top. And I was like, Carrot Top? Fuck that, I'm Sammy Hagar. And Bill the singer heard that, goes, Sammy Hagar, you're never gonna live that one down. And that's when I got my Green Jello band name. And Cabo shirt.
Cabo.
Yep, this is Green Jello Sucks on the bottom. Had them made. Sold them out.
In Cabo?
Sold them out in Texas and Louisiana.
You just decided randomly, I'm going to make Cabo.
Yeah. Because if you're going to be Sammy Hagar, you got to dress up like Sammy Hagar. Cabo shirt, red pants, the blonde hair, I'm Sammy Hagar.
Maybe I'm too young. What is this reference? It's going over my head. You're like, we're done with this interview. Over.
He's only one of the biggest rock stars in the world. And you don't. Did your parents raise you right? Where's your mama? I'm gonna slap her for not raising you right. Sammy Hagar, I can't drive. 55. One foot on the brake and one on the gas. Hey! And there's too much traffic, I can't pass, no. So I try my best, illegal move. Big black and white, gonna look like my move again. Don't wanna ride me up on North 25. Post my face, wanna dead or alive. Take my license, all done jive. I can't drive 55. That's Sammy Hagar.
That's
And
Sammy
so-
Hagar.
Sammy Hagar, shut the fuck up!
Became Bill's tagline with me, and as soon as the first time he did that, the other two people in the band who were in there much longer than me that brought me in knew that the attention was gone away from them and over to me, and so that's why I'm still in the band and they're not. And I even got a fist bump from Sammy Hagar for looking like Sammy Hagar.
Really?
Yeah, at Revention. I was
Wow.
working a chicken foot show.
Did somebody go, hey, give that guy a fist bump?
No, I'm like standing at my door, you know, because I was doing the video over at Revention Music Center. It was Bayou Music Center at the time, and I think it's back to being Bayou Music Center again. And
I know they
you know,
changed
the
it.
guys in the band, they all run out on stage, and Sammy Hagar is lagging behind, and I'm standing by my door, and I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me, and he lowers his glasses and starts laughing and gives me a fist bump and went up on stage.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Nice. So can you even fathom how many shows that you've worked?
No. I mean, I've got about 90% of the stuff from the old days written down in calendar books. But in the last 10 years, I figured, I just want to see a show, I'll just look it up in the archives. But then I had a massive computer crash and lost the archives, and so it's like, okay, well, I can look through the email and look at the old schedules, but Yahoo only keeps like 10 years worth of emails. And so, there's 3 years worth missing now. It's probably in the 6,000, 7,000 range.
Jeez. So, like, what year did you start? Do you even know? Like, what year did you start working shows?
Exactly. Well, I started. My first show was first official show, and it doesn't count the couple that I did in high school, where I organized shows at the rec center. Those don't count. The first official show was Christmas Day of 1984. Rick Allen from Def Leppard still had 2 arms. The second show, of course, was the next day. And the third show was New Year's Eve, 1984 going into 1985. Rick Allen only had 1 arm.
What a way to start.
Yeah. That was when he got in his wreck. So it's like, yeah, that's when I started. Rick Allen had 2 arms. Now he had a little, right there, the next show I did, he only had 1.
Jeez. So, were the masks a thing before you were in the band?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
The puppet show's always been there from the start. You're talking about the masks.
Let's get into these masks.
This is the Cow God.
The Cow God.
This one was made by a kid named Gavin. He's based out of Biloxi. He used to be our drummer, but he flaked out. And we didn't have a drummer for one gig, and so a guitar player's like, oh, I play drums. I haven't played in 13 years. It's like, you got a 6-hour drive to the next gig. You're riding with somebody. You're a drummer now. The world is your drum set. Start smacking things, and he went up and he killed it.
Right on.
This is the god of the deli.
I am the god of the deli, and I bring you Satan's ham.
Based off of a Aztec sun god. All South American sun gods have their tongues sticking out. And our main logo, the yuck, is Mr. Yuck with his tongue sticking out. I was like, it has to be. I have to make that. And so I did.
Mr. Yuck.
Mr.
That's
Yuck.
The green yuck guy with the
Yeah, with the crossbones and his tongue sticking out.
yeah.
Yeah, it's spelled E-U-C-K.
E-U-C-K. So, do you like? So it was the puppet show thing started before you were in the band.
Oh yeah,
Wait.
it was at the very beginning. They used to make them out of paper mache. Then they hung out with the guys in Gwar who taught them how to make them out of foam and duct tape.
Shit, that's cool. Do you know how like the idea started?
Nope, it just happened.
It just happened.
It was just one of those things that popped up, and you know, because it's a comedy band basically, and so they would play a song called Shit Man, which can't do this song very often because you got to look and see who all's around. But it's walking through the plant today, scooping up what gets away. It's poo-poo, poo-poo. Something smelling pretty right, coming from that sewer pipe. It's poo-poo, poo-poo. I got poo-poo on my shoe. I got poo-poo on my shoe. It's poo-poo, poo-poo. But first, and then you would have a guy walking around dressed up like a plumber, carrying a huge plunger. And then Bill would come out dressed up like a giant turd. And he would come out and go, but first, you got to shit, man. And then this guitar solo at the end, the plumber and Bill dressed up as the giant turd would have a fight. And so that's one of the things. And then, you know, when you have songs like Obey the Cow God, you would have a guy wearing a cow god puppet head that's probably about 5 times the size of this one, and a cow suit, and he would stand up in the middle, and everybody would obey and bray to the cow god.
That was one of the ones I saw in the video that I watched. And I remember the bartender was going around serving drinks, and the singer goes, "Hey, you get in there. I don't know."
But it's an audience participation show. You know, it started off with just, you know, people up on stage, and somebody would wear, you know, the costume, and they would, you know, interact with just the band guys. But then after a while, like, you know, the band was dissolved for a while, so Bill could play daddy to a kid named Damien. And then when they started playing again, because Damien's like, oh, let's just get the band back together, when he was like 13. They played some major tour, I forget what it is. And then when they started playing clubs, Bill would get the entire audience involved, and so it's a participation show. So they would have, instead of the band wearing these things like it was in the original days, you know, actually it was Bill or a guy named Gary Helsinger wearing the costumes. And it became audience members wearing the costumes, and they would all be up on stage until they played at BFE, and Frankie and Spencer yelled at them for having 30 people on the stage, and so Bill put them out in the audience, and that's when that started.
Just got too big to be on stage, huh?
Yeah. Well, not only that, you've been to BFE, you know their stage, you can just fall off any of the three directions, and it's a 3-foot high stage.
Honestly,
And especially with everybody if they're being drunk, because I know I was pretty wasted that night.
Yeah. For whatever reason, I thought it was smaller looking at it, and then like every time I get on there recently, I'll look around and I'm like, this is bigger than I thought.
It's 24 feet wide.
And it's like a little more space, more elbow room.
Yeah.
Because like the band I'm in, we got like 6 guys. And like we get on the Acadia stage and we're like bumping elbows. We're like, what the fuck? And then we get on BFE and we're like, oh, we actually have space. Oh.
Oh, the stages are the same size. The big difference is that Acadia's got the floor-mounted PA, and so a lot of the space is taken up by the PA.
That's got to be what it is.
Now,
Makes
if
sense.
Tommy would fly the PA over there instead of having it on the floor, but then again, his PA is on the floor like God intended. We just strung up a PA yesterday on a stage that's 26 feet wide.
Shit,
But
where's
it's
that
got the old Sherlock's in Clear Lake.
at?
It's going to open next week, 17th, something like that. That's what they're shooting for. But it's got cutouts for subwoofers, and so it's stage usable. Is probably 18 feet,
Damn.
which is, plenty for local bands, but for us, we need room.
Oh yeah, I bet. Sounds like it.
Because, we open with 3 Little Pigs, and everybody's on the stage for that. We'll have like 15, 20 people up there on stage with us, and there's no telling how many people we'll have in the band that night. We never know from day to day.
Man, that's a very interesting concept.
It's like the last show I did with Bill was New Year's Eve this year. Drove out to LA to do that. Stayed at his house on Hollywood Boulevard. And we had 3 bass players, 2 drummers, 7 guitar players, 3 singers, and a crew, and that's all that was in the room. Our guitar tech Dino couldn't make it though.
So y'all did it as like a video thing for
Yeah,
like
it was
pandemic.
streamed live on Facebook. I think it's been viewed 100,000 times now.
Damn, I'll have to look that one up. I missed that one. I did see online that y'all have a lot of stuff set up like to sell your merchandise and all that, which I think is pretty cool.
Well, one of the cool things is that Bill lets everybody in the band make their own merch and sell it.
Okay.
And so I have one t-shirt design. My partner Casey has a t-shirt design that we went in halves on t-shirts for both of them. We're almost out. Mine are branded, 2019-2020 World Tour. So I was like, oh, well, I guess those are obsolete now. I have like 5 of them left, but we need more. I have skateboard decks, and the first batch is sold out immediately. So I'm like, okay, all that money goes into making more. And I ordered them, and all of a sudden we're locked down. They're all sitting in the freaking warehouse right now.
Dang.
I've got pins, I've got Cow God pins and Yuck pins, 333 patches, because the second major album release is called 333. We just have all sorts of fun stuff that we sell. We had a drummer who would sell her artwork, and she did the majority of the old t-shirt designs that Bill would sell to people nationwide. One of the guys has tapestries and stickers, just all sorts of fun stuff.
That's awesome.
It's like everybody's got different merch. Like the guy he was playing guitar with us for a gig, and then he had to play drums the next night. He's got California style merch. The guys from the Northwest have their merch. The Canada guys have Canada A merch.
You sell these Cabo shirts?
I did. I need to have another batch made. I sold out.
Okay, I was wondering if that was just your one, like, just for you, because you're the...
No, I had 10 of them
You're
made.
Hagar.
I kept 2 of them and sold the other 8. I had these made by a guy in San Antonio who was our guitar player. Or he was our 3rd or 4th guitar player. And I need to get in touch with him, see if he still has the stencil and have some more made. But Bill's like, you ought to put green jello sucks on there even bigger. I'm like, yeah, probably will.
So what's up with the... Are you a Hannah Montana fan? No. Just grabbed a random
No.
little guitar.
How I ended up with this, a girl I knew a long time ago. She has a name in common with almost every girl I've ever gone out with. And so she's number 4 or 5. No, she's number 4. She's number 4. You know Burton from work, right? She's number 13.
Number 13?
Yeah.
With the name Burton?
No, with her first name. I'm not going to say what her first name is. My old friend with benefits is number 11. That's how many of them there are. And so,
with the same name, but you're not going to disclose what that name is?
No. And so her brother was killed in an armed robbery.
Oh, shit.
And she called me up. She flew in with her husband to go through and sort out all of his stuff. And so he had a 1,300 square foot apartment packed top to bottom with guns, guitars, bows and arrows, and collectible stuff. And so we're sorting through it. He had like 10 of these. These little pink ones are worth about $50 a piece. So I take it and I just throw this thing around. They won't stay in tune. Moral of the story is, fuck this Hannah Montana guitar. Throw it across the room. It survived 5 trips across the room. He had like 4 purple ones, and so I grabbed one of these, an Ovation guitar, a Vantage guitar, Epiphone SG that I built for James the Care Bear, because when I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's Care Bear's guitar. It's an SG. It was black. It was covered with glitter, huge glitter flakes.
Oh,
so it's like, oh, that's Care Bear's guitar. So I covered it up with 2 layers of epoxy. Now it's smooth and playable. So because it scratched the fuck out of my arm first time I tried to play it. Because all the rough glitter on it, yeah. And so he had a record collection about the size of this room stacked up halfway. And the majority of the shit went in the dumpster.
Damn.
But it's like overwhelming, and she's like, just take what you want to get. And so I'm like, I take this to open mic nights and have some fun. So I grabbed a Hannah Montana guitar. But this thing's real susceptible to temperature changes.
Oh, I bet.
Fortunately, it's 71 degrees outside and it's 71 degrees in here, so it didn't lose its tune in between riding in the car and coming in here.
Yeah, it's a nice day.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those days. It's like, oh, this, and we get to look at rockets on the way to work is why I still live in this area.
Space City, Houston. You got any fun things coming up that you're a part of?
I have a show with James Rivera's Metal Wave at Scout Bar next weekend. I'm just taking in my kabuki drop. He called me up. He's like, I saw Depeche Mode in '85. And we're like, what the fuck is this? But by the end of the show, we were like, yeah! And we were the only ones. All these goth kids are looking at us going, fuck is with these two Mexican headbangers? Going, yeah, at the front of the stage. And it's like, okay, so now I can tell people your favorite band is The Cure. Because they do metal versions of The Cure and Depeche Mode and bands like that. And so he's like, well, they started off the show with this white screen covering the stage. And then it dropped, and there they are. And he's like, and I want to do that. And I'm like, I've known you for 40 years, and you're just now coming up to me with this? He's like, yeah. I was like, it's called a kabuki drop. He's like, okay, cool. How do we do it? And I'm like, I'll take care of it. And so I have one made for size for Scout Bar. 30 feet wide, 10 feet high. It's all one piece of fabric. It's great.
Right.
Whereas the one I had for HOB was 38 feet wide, because that's how wide the truss is, and 20 feet high, because it's two 10-foot wide pieces of cloth sewn together. And so I got this thing, so I'm going to go rig it up and leave the rigging in the ceiling, because I do a lot of stuff at Scout Bar. And so that's the next, and I've got a show with The Hunger at Scout Bar on April 24th.
That would be a good show.
Hold on Hollywood coming up for a couple of shows. One of them at BFE on the 27th of this month. Another one at Proof Bar on June 6th, if it doesn't conflict with The Hunger, because The Hunger's playing at Numbers sometime in June, but I'm not sure of the date. Mini tour with The Hunger, like Dallas, San Antonio, and Austin.
Nice.
And then House of Blues is reopening on the 19th.
Yes.
So what's up with you?
With me, well, been doing some shows at Acadia, working the door,
Oh, cool.
doing some booking here and there when I can. Got some shows. Got a show coming up with Nigma, Allegheny Drive, Newspaper Taxis, Ink Blot, and the band from High Voltage Rock Camp on March 21st, I believe. That I booked over there. That's the next one coming up. And got working on a single with Surrender Stella called Flawed Fatal Life. It's kind of like going back and forth with the producer right now, but we did the. It's weird because we did the music video before the single was finished, which see how that turns out. But like the single was done.
I do a lot of video work, so it's like, okay, we can cut this little section out and this little section, or we can stretch this one out. Yeah, it's like, okay, well, I got my scene is 3 minutes long, so I can choose whatever little portion I want out of it. It's like, all right, so we'll put this, and this, and it's like, what do you mean the song's a minute longer than what you said? Okay, we'll just add this and this and this.
Do you do video work as like just like yourself, or do you work with some like video production companies?
I do it on my own. It's like I do a lot of tribute bands. Like the Pink Floyd tribute band, Us and Them. It's like I found the Pink Floyd Pulse video files, the ones that they showed on stage on the big round screen. And so I'm like, okay, download. They're in like low quality, but you really can't tell. And so they'll be up there playing, and I'll have this video going on the wall whenever it's time for it to be up there.
Nice.
It's like now I'm like, just rent a fucking projector. We'll mask off the area that's not a circle, so it'll just shine right on in. There we go. It's done.
Like for during live shows?
Yeah. Or I know. There's a guy named Steven in San Antonio who does all the artwork at Scout Bar. And he does graphics for The Hunger, so I'll take his stuff. And then the songs that he didn't do, I'll put video packages together, because they like using video walls with The Hunger. And so I like I do a version for one of their songs of the Roger Waters version of Young Lust, which is motion videos in black and white of girls in lingerie for the verse. And then the chorus is a slideshow in red of girls' pictures. And then a second verse is girls in lingerie in black and white. And then the rest of it's all slideshows of pictures of girls. Well, for the Pink Floyd tribute, the slideshow's tinted red. Everything else is black and white. So what I do for the Pink Floyd tribute band is lingerie girls, and then girls I know. And then Veronica Gomez, Veronica, the bartender from Dirt Bar.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, she has a video, and I'm like, Veronica, can I use your video? She's like, yeah, just put my name on it. Like, your name's right there at the beginning anyway. Made it black and white. Put it on there. People are like,
that's wild.
I showed it to the saxophone player for the Pink Floyd tribute band. I was doing a show with it. He was hanging out at a concert pub for a show with Supersonic Blues Machine. I'll tell you about that one later. And I'm like, hey, check this out. And so I'm showing him the video, and he's looking at it going, that was on our stage? It's like, yeah. He's like, that's fucking awesome. Don't do it again.
Damn.
I was like, so I did it again. So, but with the hunger, I'll take this same slideshow and the same pictures, and I'll tint them blue. Like, this one girl pissed me off, and so she did a video on Instagram where she's about to give her boyfriend head, and I'm like, well, this chick pissed me off, so she tied her hair back and going down like this, and that's where it stops. And so I took it, and she ties her hair back, goes down, back up, and it loops. And then she's on one side and the girl's here. And then she flips to the other side and another girl's here. And it flipped back and forth like that for the fucking chorus on one of the songs. And then for the second chorus, it's, just slideshow of girls I know, and it ends with my two favorite girls. And then the fast part, I pulled the sex scene from Demolition Man. Have you seen Demolition Man?
I have not.
Okay, so they do virtual reality sex in Demolition Man, and it's Sandra Bullock back when she was like 21 or 22 or so.
I think I've seen like small clips of
this. And so it's her in blue light, orange light, flipping and it's real trippy looking. And then you have Stallone. That's like cut. Stallone gone, back to her. And, she flashes her tits a couple of times, and so it's like, stretch. And, and so I'm playing that for the guys, and Alex, he's 50 feet away playing the drums. He stops and goes, is that Demolition Man? I'm like, yep.
Lord. So you do some work with the Dope Show too, right?
Yeah. It's a Marilyn Manson tribute. I do their lights.
And you telling me the other day you got like some what was it? Was the little light thing
Yes,
with the pegs?
light brights.
Little light brights.
If you look up a show of Marilyn Manson in '95 at the Abyss in Houston, there are 4 things that you can see clearly in that show. Marilyn Manson, New Wave Dave, the security guy who's lit up better than Marilyn Manson. Known that fucker forever. He used to have a blue mohawk 2 feet high. Now he's bald as a cue ball. And 2 light brights. And so one says hate, and the other one says kill God. But I'm like, I'm not going to put that on there because my mama really kicked my ass. She was in a bad mood after I played Satan's Ham for her. And so the other one says fuck. And so I had to buy like 10 light bright sets of pegs to get enough pegs to write hate and fuck on a light bright. And so I was chatting with Alex Slay, the drummer for that project. It's actually his band. And I was like, it's never fuck hate. It's hate fuck. Hate must be on the stage right side of the drummer, and fuck has to be on the stage left. Hate fuck.
Hate fuck, not fuck hate.
Not fuck hate. Never fuck hate. Hate's a good emotion. It motivates you. But yeah, hate fuck. And so, yeah, light brights. Had to move
Hate's
them
a
out of the
good
way to get
emotion
the cow
and
god.
motivates you.
Yep. Had to move them out of the way to get the cow god out of the storage room.
I feel like a lot of people in my generation struggle with motivation, and they also block out a lot of hate. They try and be all lollipop and gumdroppy and shit, and then they're like, I never want to get out of bed, don't want to do anything. Maybe they need to embrace the hate.
They do. Everybody hates them, so they need to learn how to hate everybody else.
And there you go. Well, with that, fuck you.
Fuck you too. Well, the first little piggy, he was kind of hicky, spent most of his days just a dreaming of the city. Then one day, he bought a guitar. He moved to Hollywood to become a star. Living on the farm, he knew nothing of the city. Built his house out of straw, what a pity. Then one day, jamming on some chord, along came the wolf, knocking on his door. Little pig, let me in. And then Maynard Keenan from Tool goes, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Little pig, let me in. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Well, I'm huffing, I'll blow your house in. Huffing, blow your house in. Huffing, blow your house in. Huffing and I'll blow your house in. And you just fade that out.
You're like, we're done with this interview. Over. Ding.
Ding.
That's time. No, I'm just kidding.